easing into.
By the way, the title at the top is wrong. Divorce
What's
Clarity
wrong?
Studio. It's not the Divorce Clarity Studio. It's Let's Talk Dating.
Oh.
Thank you.
I was all confused by the title. I thought it was a different title today, and I didn't even see that our title wasn't there.
No. So anybody watching, you get it. If you listen to the podcast, ignore what we said because you wouldn't have seen it.
But it is the show right before us. I was kind of watching it because I'd never seen that one before. So today, Barry and I are going to talk about what respect means in a relationship, because doesn't everyone truly want to feel respected? Want to have somebody show it, say it, act it? And then do we show it, say it, act it back? I think that's the part that sometimes gets missing. It's a little bit of a double standard. Well, I want you to do this, but are you willing to do that? And so I think this is going to be a really fun subject, because it means holding somebody in esteem. It means making somebody feel that they matter to you. It shows that you think that they're important and that you would feel important. And we don't always feel that way in relationships in general, and often in dating relationships, certainly in the beginning.
Yes, definitely.
So we'll get started and welcome you to the newstreamingnetwork.com, WGSN-DB, Going Solo Network, radio, TV, and podcast, #1 internet singles talk network. And this is Let's Talk Dating with Christine and Barry. Hi, Barry.
Hi, Christine.
That's a good color on you. I'm not sure that I've seen that deep of a color on you before.
I have other red ones, but they seem to look different on camera. They vary. You know, the color looks the same to me. So it is what it is. Yeah, I like it.
It's very striking, especially against your books in the background.
Well, thank you. Thanks for noticing.
So I think what really is very important first is where we often start is, what does respect mean to you? What would somebody say or do? This is the kind of question I ask people all the time when they say, I want somebody who's funny. I want somebody who has integrity. I want somebody who's honest. What would they say or do that you would go, oh yeah, they're that, or they're not that, or I have more questions? So because we all often have really different dictionaries inside of us, and the Webster's dictionary has more than one definition under every word. So why wouldn't human beings have different ones? So to determine what is your personal definition, what kind of things would people say to you? How would they treat you? What kinds of activities do you want to participate in that would make you feel respected? What kinds of things do you absolutely would make you feel disrespected? Because sometimes that's where people start if they felt badly in relationships before. So write down all the things that didn't work, and then what would you like instead? Because if you've never thought about what you would like instead, it's a kind of a good jumping off point to start with what didn't work, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Because respect it's. I mean, I've heard it more than once. I've seen it in movies too, where people saying, "You don't respect me." It's like, well, what does it mean to be respected? So it is important to know, as you said, absolutely, to know what respect means to you personally, because what somebody says or does may or may not impact you the way you think it does. Like, one thing came right away talking about that is that for me, respect is to have your boundaries respected. So someone doesn't trample them or ignore you, which means basically how they treat you is they honor who you are, because honor is part of respect as well for me. So as we get into this conversation, definitely I want to see all the aspects of this, so many facets and flavors of what respect can mean. But the biggest piece of it for me really is, well, I'll say it this way: do you respect yourself? Mm-hmm. It's hard to be respected or demand respect if you don't even respect yourself. For example, you don't keep your agreements with yourself. You don't keep yourself disciplined. You don't take care of your own physical body. So how does respect play out for you?
Yes, that is so the foundation of when you are going to determine and define what is respect for you. What do you do that's respectful for yourself first?
Yeah.
How do you treat yourself? How do you talk to yourself in your head? Sometimes the way that we talk to ourselves is not a way we would ever talk to our best friend. Or sometimes I say, would you say that to a police officer that stopped you to counsel you about something they think you did that was incorrect? Probably not. So be kinder to yourself, because we disrespect ourselves often. Oh, that's stupid. Oh, you should have known better, especially in the dating arena. I'm not talking about everything else, but certainly in the dating arena, we think we should just know, and we know that nobody just knows, which is why we're happy to teach them, that you would treat yourself respectfully all the time. And even if you do something that didn't work out, we'll go, yeah, that wasn't very thoughtful, or wow, I wish I would have known better than that. But now that I do better, know better, I could do better and be kinder and more respectful. Because if you don't demand yourself to be respectful for yourself, it's going to be extra hard to really keep a boundary with how somebody else needs to treat you respectfully. That's such a good point, Barry.
Yeah, well, the thing is that respect is, it is, I want to say misunderstood, but it's often glossed over,
Mhm.
and it really is comes down to, you know, it it is a primary quality of relationship for most of us out in the world, whether it's romantic or not, and yet it's so easily missed. And so, like we're saying, how do you respect yourself? Well, one thing I'm aware of is that people don't always manage their emotions very well, so they get volatile, they get upset, they get angry, and they lose both the respect of others in themselves, but also they don't respect other people's boundaries when they start being volatile and expressive, for a better term. So part of that respect is also learning how to manage your own emotional state, your well-being, your emotional. Much is too strong a word, but just being conscious of your emotionality, so you can be more present to yourself. Because I said earlier about boundaries, when someone gets angry, they're generally not respecting other people's boundaries because they just lash out, and come hell or high water, they're going to get their point across, and that isn't the ideal way of being respectful.
And I think you're really right that often, not always, but often when I've gotten angry like that, or I've seen somebody that got angry like that, it's because they are feeling disrespected. They're feeling not seen. They're feeling not heard. They're feeling like their boundaries are trampled all over. And we need to look at ourselves and say, well, was I clear about that boundary? Did I get an agreement that they wouldn't do that before I get mad at them for doing something that maybe I didn't clearly say, do this instead, or don't do this instead? Because if we haven't clearly figured out for ourselves what our boundaries are and then articulated it clearly to the other person, that they can then repeat back the same words and say, yes, I agree to that, or no, I can't agree to all of that or any of that. It's really unfair to make yourself vulnerable to this person who hasn't agreed to treat you in a respectful way. So I think sometimes we're getting mad at ourselves, but it's just easier to get mad at the other.
Yeah.
Not like you or I have ever done that in any of our relationships.
Oh no, never done that. No, we've always been so perfectly centered and not natural. That's why we are so skilled at this, because we make so many mistakes.
That's why we're so knowledgeable about all this. We've done all those things more than
Pretty much.
once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and the thing, and I will say this again, is that idea of respect, it really is about how do we carry ourselves in the world. And so the way people see us, the way people experience us, it's interesting because I'm going to say this in a nice way. I watched other people be oblivious to how they're impacting the world and the people around them, because their level of respect is totally, basically diminished. It's not present. So it's hard to respect somebody who does that. It's like, respect earns respect. So if they are not respecting the world they're in because of the way they drive, park, bully their way through, travel through crowds, all that sort of stuff, it's very hard to respect them in return. So it is a thing that you earn by the way you present and how you are in the world. And so if you're looking to be respected, maybe you want to think about how you're actually respecting those around you.
Oh boy, that is a difficult thing. I tell people, when there's all these impatient people in the world, it's because I got their share. I am the most, all that kind of stuff, like in a parking lot and walking through a store. So little of that ruffles my feathers. I have stuff that ruffle my feathers a lot, but it's not
Yeah.
the thing. But I really do understand why it does ruffle people's feathers. And I think it's because the good and bad of the both sides of the hand for me is I am so hyper aware of who's
Yeah.
around me all the time that I generally am not in anybody's way ever. I bop around people all the time. It's not like I acquiesce every time, but I'm aware that I don't bump into people and I go around because I don't like bumping into people personally. But the people who are on their phones or looking in the opposite direction than they're walking, I'm aware that they don't run into me. But if I watch all the people they keep running into, and the tempers just go flaring. And the thing that I hear is the underlying, whether they say it or not, you see it on their face. Well, everybody knows not to do that. Everybody just should know. They should know, or they do. They do know this, and they're doing it on purpose because they don't care about people or me. That's really the underlying because I don't get ruffled about it. So I'm so watching. It's like a movie happening in front of me. And I really understand. I do. I grew up in a family with very impatient people. Maybe that's why I got all the share of being very patient. And I see the toll it takes. So I realize the things that I have that take a toll on me, but I see the toll it takes about how feeling disrespected by strangers. That's the thing. There's the tipping point that this person doesn't know you first, doesn't not care about you, but they don't care about you because you're not anybody important in their life. And you take this so personally that they're not moving fast enough because you need to go, and they're not paying attention with it because you're needing to. I have to tell you, it has less than zero to do with you, which is
Yeah,
why it would be helpful if you realize that, to not get quite so upset and feel disrespected in a way that it is not. It is so not disrespectful because they have no idea that they're doing it.
it's such an interesting dynamic and thing we play in. We talked about the phones and not seeing where people are going. I just had a flash on because one of my morning rituals, I go hiking every morning in the local hills. And on the trails, I've been guilty of this too, so I'm going to say it from my own perspective. And it's not because I'm on my phone, because some people, yes, they're busy on their phones or they're doing things. But when I'm on my hike, I'm in my own zone. I've got my earbuds in, listening to an audiobook, and I'm basically going through the trail. However, the trails aren't very smooth, so I'm generally speaking looking down to where I put my feet. I don't want to twist my ankle or anything. But sometimes because I also have a baseball cap on, so I don't have peripheral vision above my eye line sort of thing. Oftentimes I'm caught up short because somebody's coming the other way pretty quickly, especially if someone's on a bike is even more challenging. They're coming fast. It's last second going, oops, I realize somebody's there. I've got to pay attention to them because I'm just basically focusing on my own little 3 foot of space in front of me. And so it's something where I won't say it's situation dependent, but there are certain environments where we may not look at that the same way. Yeah. But in retail stores and in other environments or in malls where there's lots of people around, having respect for other people is a premium, frankly, because the disregard for other people to get somewhere because you've got to go for the sale or you're trying to get out or you're trying to get a parking, whatever it is. And parking lots may not be true in other towns, but certainly in LA, parking lots can be a nightmare of respect because people are fighting for spaces. I had an experience in a Costco parking lot about a month ago where I was waiting in because if you've been to Costco's or in like big box stores, the parking lots, a lot of cars are waiting for spots they're going to show up because there aren't any spots at that moment. So you're basically in the aisles waiting. And when somebody decides that they aren't going to wait in line, they want to cut ahead to get a spot, and then they act like they were there first all the time, it takes a lot of my own wherewithal to stay centered and neutral and be very polite, or at least the best I can do oftentimes is simply just ignore them and walk away rather than just trying to confront them, because it's so frustrating because the respect they didn't have was so undermining. So again, we've been through this. We're not immune to this. And I know for myself, even now, after all this work, there are some simple things that get under my skin and trigger me. And that's one of those things where it's like waiting your turn is unspoken, but it's almost like it's supposed to be respected, and the people in line are supposed to be respected. And it's frustrating sometimes. And I've had circumstances, and I've definitely gone caught on myself where I did in one parking lot sort of cut out somebody, didn't see them, and they were getting upset with me, and I was like, choice point, do I ignore them or do I back out and let them have it, sort of thing. So I've played both sides. So I'm not saying I'm perfect by any means, but I'm very conscious of it. Either side of the conversation.
And that's the ticket, Barry, that if we just stay conscious of, I'm a little grouchy today, I haven't had enough sleep, me and my food and my sleeping, my mood can just take a U-turn in not a good direction. That when I'm approaching the Costco parking lot, which never ruffles my feathers, I just find I tease the cart guys that are out there. I go, it's like bumper cars. Do you feel like you should have like one of those goalie suits on because people are going to run into you? But how you present yourself to the world is certainly how you're going to present yourself in dating. So right. How do you use these little things that keep happening in your life if you go out in the world to re-regulate yourself so that then you have this skill, this muscle that's built up, so that what if you end up with somebody taking a parking spot when you're now going to go meet somebody for the first time, or the traffic all of a sudden you had to get off and you're going to be running late? How do you have practiced How upset is this really going to make you? How is it going to help to get upset? Do you want to scream a couple times in your car? That'll take some of the pressure off. Or does that make it worse and you need to just keep taking a bunch of breath? How do you re-regulate yourself so that when you now show up for this first meeting, or you've now going to been dating somebody for a while and it happens, how do you get back to your best self when something happens that feels disrespectful? Because we really do take this kind of stuff personally from strangers. They're really strangers in their own world. And sometimes when somebody like cuts me off in traffic, now my new thing I say is, well, I'm sure there's an emergency.
Yeah.
I'm sure there isn't, but I got to tell you how well that fits in my head. I'm sure they're like going to the hospital because their wife's delivering a baby. And then I forget about them, where I've seen people be mad for like miles that somebody cut them off. And I'm like, I don't want to carry that with me. So it's a skill to learn and get good at, to respect yourself and to not feel disrespected by strangers. And then it can be a great skill to now use when you're dating, because why didn't they come with a better shirt? And why did they come with mud on their shoes? And I've had that happen a couple times. And I said, gosh, how did you spend your day? And they like changed a tire on the way and they're going to go home and change clothes. So that was why they had mud on their shoes. It really was a real experience. And I wasn't upset. I was just curious because it seemed odd, but he had to change his tire on his way to meet me. And he actually was like right on time, but he had mud on his shoes. So it was really an interesting conversation to go, oh, I could have just gotten all upset and never asked, because you see that people say they never ask. They're just, oh my God, how disrespectful. So if you respect yourself, which I do, and I thought, well, why would somebody show up with muddy shoes to meet me the first time? Let's see if there's a really good reason. And it turned out to be a really good reason. So I felt really respected that he would rather show up with muddy shoes, and you should have seen what he did to clean them off before we went in the restaurant, that he didn't want to be late. I thought that was lovely. All of his reasons were lovely.
Well, the thing about it, that is really choosing what respect means. In that case, being on time is more important than being perfect.
Mm-hmm. And I'm a punctual person, so that made points with me.
And for some people, being perfect is more important than being on time. So it is a choice, like pick your poison, so to speak. Choose the one that's going to work for you. But I would say, yes, if you meet someone the first time, if something happens and you cannot reach them to say, I'm running late by 10 minutes because I have to do something, because that's the other option. You communicate and say, I will be there. You respect them enough.
This is before cell phones, so yeah.
Right, yeah. Then do something to make that happen. And being on time with, I don't want to say excuse, but with justification is something that's worth looking at. And it's such a simple thing, but we have, I won't say been trained, but we seem to have become defaulted into a case where being on time is close enough. And it's a frustration for me because I'm about being on time as well. And it's something that it isn't hard to do, especially now because smartphones can have maps in them to give you estimated time of arrival, so you can plan ahead and know, add 5 minutes or 10 minutes, so you know you're going to be on time. So being on time should be an easy thing, unless an emergency like a car accident or a flat tire or something else happens that makes it a little bit harder. But again, we have technology that can support us in communicating, because if you're not going to be on time because something comes up and you don't communicate, that's a massive lack of respect in my book. If you're unfortunately going to be late, you're not prepared for something that happened untoward, and you communicate that, and then you run late or you get on time, that for me is brownie points. That works. That's a plus sign. So again, decide how you want to be seen.
As Paul Harvey used to say, and the rest of the story was, when he called AAA, they were going to be too long, so that's why he changed it himself, so he wouldn't be late. I was very impressed with the whole story, where I could have got my nose completely out of joint, and I just chose not to. I chose to listen, and it was a really great story.
Very good story too, and very, very illustrative. I
was very impressed. So, boy, have you felt respected in your past relationships? Have you felt like you respect yourself or not? If this is at all piqued your interest or landed somewhere inside of you and, oh, yeah, this is something that I want to work on, Barry and I'd be happy to talk to you about it. So the way to reach me is to go to my website, which is www.theperfectcatch.com. Scroll to the middle of the screen and you'll find a What's Holding You Back from Love questionnaire. It's 8 brief questions about what's happening now and what would you like to be better later, so that we can get acquainted even before we meet. And then you schedule a conversation with me on either Zoom or the phone through my online calendar, and we'll talk about it and see what we can do about having it be a better outcome. And then you could also send me an email at Christine@theperfectcatch.com. And how would they reach you, Barry?
Similar to Christine, I have a website, which is my name. It's barryselby.com. And at the top of the page on my website is a button. I have a similar thing, which is a calendar link with my questionnaire as well. So you click on the Let's Have a Conversation, Let's Chat button that's at the top of the screen, or the first thing you see on the screen. And then that will take you to my calendar. We can schedule a time to meet with me. It'd be a 30-minute Zoom call between me and you, discussing where you are, what you're looking for, if I can help you. And then there'll also be a questionnaire that comes up with it. It gives you a bunch of questions. I forgot how many I know because I've rewritten it recently. It really gets down deep into what it is that's working for you, what's not working for you, and what's challenging, so that when we talk, I'm prepared to serve you the best way possible. And if you want to send me an email, you can send me one directly at barry@barryselby.com, and we'll tell you about all the other stuff on our websites at the end of the show.
So we're going to take a short break for the newstreamingnetwork.com, our wonderful station that distributes our live podcast, our live episodes, as well as our audio podcasts. And then we'll be right back to talk more about what respect means in a relationship.
See you in a moment.
And we're back with the Let's Talk Dating Show with Christine and Barry. And today we're talking about what respect means in a relationship. And we started out talking about it's the relationship with yourself first. How do you show respect to yourself? How are you clear about the kind of things that make you feel respected? And what are the things that you ask for other people? Anybody that's listened to me for any length of time knows if I'm in a relationship, I don't want to touch a door handle of anything. I don't want to open a car door. I don't want to open a store or a movie or a restaurant. I want somebody to open my door all the time because it makes me feel very respected. It was how I was raised. My dad did that. Both of my husbands have done that. And it's something I've requested from anybody that I've dated for any length of time. And I like it. It's not that I'm not capable of opening the door, but that they make the effort. And I always say thank you. And it generally, by the time we're doing that, we've kissed. So they always get a big kiss when they open the door every single time. So what's that a nice reward? And I love having my coat taken off. I love having the chair pulled out. And I tell them this is what would make me happy. And then I tell them that makes me happy when they do it. So generally they do it because it is a very high value to me to feel respected.
It's such a simple thing. And they talk about chivalry and gentlemanly conduct. Yes, and it's certainly something that we can do as men with our lady friends, whether it's friends or partners, to be respectful. I do all the time. When I'm even in a grocery store, somebody will open the door for a stranger who's not somebody I know, because just it's something I love doing as well. So on the other side of it, I enjoy doing it for other people as a sign of respect that I've been late for other people. So I agree with you on that one. It is. And sometimes respect is the simple things, the little things, not the big things, but it can be so simple. So I love the idea what you said, because it really does work from my side as well, to be the man opening the door for the woman. So yes, absolutely.
And then the other thing I've gotten really clear about is how I like being spoken to. I tell people the kind of questions I like being asked, that I like being asked, what was the important part of your day today? Or what are you working on? Or what was something exciting that you learned? Because how was your day? I have to go, well, did I sleep well? Did I talk to anybody interesting today? How was my workout? What did I think of the weather? I mean, I'm a girl, so I am paying attention to everything all the time. And I have feelings about all of it and thoughts about all of it. And probably if you really do ask me that, often we just say fine. But if I really want to be honest with you, I could probably talk about off the cuff 10 things. So I like when somebody has something specific, because if you guys would rather a short answer about one subject instead of 10, then tell me the subject you'd like me to talk about, and I will. Or if I'll say, gosh, this is the thing I really want to talk about today. Would that be fine with you if I talk about that? And this is how many words I'm going to talk for 10 minutes. Or I'm going to talk for 5 minutes. I'm really good about that too, because you guys really are fine listening for a while, as long as I tell you it's going to be a while. But if I
Yeah.
tell you it's going to be short and then I talk long, that is one of the a guy explained that to me a very long time. I had the best teachers between my marriages. Be honest about how long you're going to be when you're getting ready. Don't say 10 minutes and then it's really because you know it's a half an hour, but you're not going to say that.
Yeah.
Then they don't believe you. Or I really need to talk for 20 whole minutes. Now I could talk for 18 and I'd be fine with that, but I can't talk for 30 if I've said I only need 20. So I really need to gauge how many words I'm going to be saying and how long I need for this subject that I could return to later, but for right now. And then I keep my word because I respect that I want to get this out. And this is the kind of feedback I need. And then I respect their time. And it's made men, certainly my clients, but personal, be very receptive to listening to me when I give them boundaries about it. And so they've told me that it made them feel really respected when I've done
It is a rare gift, to say the
that.
least. So, yes.
And
To have that.
Alison Armstrong.
Yeah. But it's so true. And to underline that point very clearly is that we men in our communication are pretty succinct and we basically one thing at a time, whereas women's conversations are much deeper and talk about lots of things. And I've been guilty myself of not asking specific enough questions to get specific enough answers that I get what I need. And I get frustrated because I realized I opened any question that didn't have any parameters. And so they went off on the tangent that was so not what I was looking for, but I can't say no now. So that became real pain.
Oh boy, that water that happens in male and female communication is
Yes,
crazy.
indeed.
And what's lovely is if you've built up a relationship where you say, I just hold the trash can, let me just empty it, and this is going to make me feel better. And I promise I'll be so happy with you after. You're like, okay, and how long is that going to take? Give me like 15 minutes. Okay, I can do that. And then you say, I see it's 50 minutes. Thank you. We can move on now. And I do feel better. And you can take the invisible trash can out to the bin. And I promise I don't need to talk about that anymore. And boy, learning that, I had guys bring it up. And then it got so solidified when I started taking Allison's classes. I was like, it works really well. It works so well because we women, it's like going up a trunk of a tree and we go off on all these branches. And sometimes we go back to another branch. I rarely have worked on that with men because when I need a different kind of your male energy and you get to the point and you really do have some great advice once I've dumped it all out, I need to tell you what all the thing is when I get it all out of my mouth. And then you go, okay, you feel better? You're done. Here's the solution. And it's really worked really well now that I understand how your brain works.
It is something that absolutely Alison teaches so well. And yes, it's something that I've learned myself and really become clear about. It is so succinct and clear because, as you know, as John Gray talks about, Mars and Venus being very different, we have our own unique styles between male and female that communicate. And when we sort of not so much go, well, mine's better or mine's worse, when we just go, how do I listen? It transforms the conversation. And back to respect, that's what the topic's about, is if you care about somebody enough to listen to what they're saying, that's a deep sign of respect because you care about who they are, and vice versa as well. So it goes both ways. And so respect isn't just, as I said earlier, opening the door or doing something nice or being able to communicate. It's also being willing to give them space to share what's going on for them in real ways. In my clients, it's like absolutely one of my deepest levels of respect is holding space and being present to them so they can share what's going on for them, because that's really what the journey is about. Is being the solid place they can land and speak to so they can feel open. And it's such a simple thing in a way, but it's so much more than that because it's not just letting them talk. It's about being an active or a heart-centered listener so they can really feel heard.
Yes, it's a compliment that we both receive frequently. We've talked
Yes.
about that I'm a soft place men tell me for their feelings to land, and that women say, you really do remember all the details because I'm a girl. And you're such a good listener. If you really are there present with somebody and really listening, it is very respectful. So with friends, with family, with love interests, the other thing that we do have to talk about is cell phone, because what kind of communication, how long do they take? How often do you need to talk? And how much is your phone going to be there? So one of the things I was so impressed with when I first started going out with my husband, he said, my daughter, I'm on call with her and on call with a couple of people from work. So my phone is going to stay in my pocket on vibrate. And if it goes off, I am going to look at it and see if it's one of those three people. And if it's not, it's going to go back in my pocket. And I was very impressed. And then one of the times like the third time we went out, one of them was his daughter. So I just walked away. They could have their private conversation. And then I came back, and I never felt like the phone ever took precedence over me, even though it was in his pocket on vibrate all the time. So I felt very respected about that. So having boundaries about how are you going to handle your phone? How do you want the other person to handle the phone? Can you come to an agreement that you put it aside, or there's a reason it needs to be there? Or I'm like, I have to look up everything. So I go, I need to look something up because we just talked about that. Could I share it with you? So I make a point of going, we're looking this up together so that I don't feel like I'm alienating them.
It's kind of a given in a way, but people have this bad assumption that cell phones just mean something and they don't have a framework. So what you said is so great, because if you have cell phones in the conversation, because they are a fairly recent addition to relationships, because they showed up in the last 20 years, is the understanding that when somebody has a cell phone doesn't mean they automatically carte blanche either must ignore it or they can be consumed by it. It's like, what do you have as boundaries? So I said boundaries at the beginning. Same idea here. It's like, what are the boundaries around cell phones in the conversation when you're on a date or when you're in a relationship, when you're in bed together, whatever things are, because it can really be something that can be a deal breaker, or it can be something that's very important to have. So it's vital to have clarity what you really want to have in communication and keep going through, because it's so key. So what you said was so beautiful.
Thank you. And how fast do you expect? I'm on calls all day long, and I cannot respond. I tell people I will respond generally to my phone in 12 hours and my email within 24 hours. That's my rule. Yeah. And I can do it sooner. How nice, but I'm never going to be longer than that. So setting a boundary of tell me your expectations, because this is what I can do and what I can't do. And you as well, what can you do and not do? Because we really think, a lot of people really think, well, it's been 10 minutes. They're ignoring me. Maybe not.
Yep.
Or maybe they want to formulate a response and they really want to make sure they give you a good response. That could be why they've read it, because you say, oh, I saw they read it, but they can't respond right now. And especially girls, we can just get so verklempt about it. I mean, we can just go off the deep end. And so if you've talked about it ahead of time, that I can't always respond for a variety of reasons. Do you really need all of them? Maybe not, but there are a variety of reasons. And I promise I will get back to you within, like, if you're in a relationship, 3 hours. And if I can't, I'll at least text you that I need another hour. So I think that's lovely. I think as long as you say, this is who I am and what I can do, and the person goes, yeah, I'm okay with that, or not, I need this different. Or we have permission in our family, especially if it's on Do Not Disturb, there's a way that you can do 911 if you really do need somebody. So you could have that arrangement with somebody that you're now in an intimate relationship with, that you have a code right now. I need you right now. And you would never overuse it. I only a few clients do I give them the 911 privileges, but they never overuse it. And I respect that about them. So I've even done that with clients, that they can text me if there's this thing and I just need, okay. And it's like a really big thing, or they just need a witness, or they need to say something and they just need me to see that they said it. I'm perfectly fine doing that. I can do that between calls. Yeah. So yeah, I think the respect with the cell phone is mandatory conversation. You cannot not have a conversation in this day and age about cell phones. You just can't.
Absolutely. And it's amazing how much people get triggered by those things too. You know, it's a little bit actually, something come up right before the break, we talked about cars and parking lots and space to get angry and everything else. Something I remember I want to just share as a tip for anybody who's going through the place where they start to get anger coming up about something because something's triggered them, and respect, because being disrespected can trigger us to be angry. It's almost like hardwired for some people, and they feel very upset and very angry. So there's a little trick that I learned. It's a neuroplasticity one, but it's also basically to do with the vagus nerve, because the thing is, getting angry oftentimes is because it's a protection mechanism. We get angry to protect our feelings, to make sure the other person doesn't hurt us any further, whatever it is. And respect can be, or should I say disrespect, can be very hurtful. So that's what triggers it when it comes up. However, we don't need to go punch a wall to get the anger out. Other ways of doing it. One of the tips, which is so simple, and this is just a breathing exercise, which is very simple to do. And basically, the way it works is because our I think it's amygdala is the part of the brain that has the anger in it, is so hardwired to do something that it can only be diffused by a change of internal pressure. And so by breathing, as in taking a conscious breath and breathing all the way up and filling yourselves up, and then when you get to the full breath, you do another intake just on top of that, like a bonus intake, like a little on top of the first breath. And what it does is I'm saying short circuit is not the right word, but it stops the auto firing of that mechanism. So if you're in a place where you're getting really angry and upset, there's the thing about when you get angry, count to 10. Well, there's similar ideas, but if you breathe in like over a 4 count, and as you breathe in, fill up your chest, and then you hold your breath, and then you just take a little sip of air on top of that. And then you breathe out slowly over a period of like 6. So you breathe out over more time than you take the breath in. You'll be amazed how much it changes your physiology, and you'll find yourself seeing through a different lens. You may not be at peace with what's happening, but you won't be ready to punch the person out. So try that one for size. You might find it very helpful.
Such an important way to see how we re-regulate ourselves and how we like distract it from Vesuvius exploding, that we go, oh, maybe we can let a little steam out on the side and it doesn't have to boil all over and cover everybody with lava.
Indeed.
Well, I think respect is a very important thing in our world right now. Lots of people are feeling very disrespected and ignored and not like anybody's paying attention to who they are and what they need and want. So start with yourself, feeling respectful for yourself and what do you need about that, and then have somebody to practice with. And it could be us. We'd be happy to practice with you and help you build up that muscle of asking for respect from the people that are in your life. So if you'd like to do that with me, the best place I can send you is my website, which is theperfectcatch.com. And scroll to the middle of the screen and click on the What's Holding You Back from Love questionnaire and tell me where you are and where you'd like to be in this subject or others. And then you'll have access to my online calendar and you can schedule a complimentary conversation with me either over the phone or Zoom, and we can talk about this. While you're on my website, I invite you to go to the top and click on my ebook. It was 10 years of giving an advice column that my lovely editor sister-in-law put together in a book, and I'm happy to gift it to you. Just click on it and I'll send it to you. It's got lots of chapters of really interesting questions and answers of people that were going through the dating process, and I love to answer it. It was a really fun thing to do. Also, I'd love you to join my mailing list. You'll find out what's going on in my world, as well as get a copy of this podcast every week in your mailbox effortlessly. You can also go down to all my social media at the bottom, which is Facebook and LinkedIn and Instagram and Pinterest and YouTube and Twitter. And if you go to the right to YouTube, there's over 280 now podcasts that Barry and I have been doing for the last 5 years. And you can get lots and lots of free information there. And I'd be happy if you sent me an email at Christine@theperfectcatch.com and asked me any questions or schedule a time to talk to me. And how would people reach you, Barry?
Well, similar to Christine, I have a website. And again, as I mentioned at the break, you can get to my calendar through that. So you go to barryselby.com, and at the top of the page, there is a button that basically says Let's Chat, which gives you my calendar and with a question that you fill out and gives you a chance to really go deep in what you're looking for and how I can help you. And we schedule a 20, 30-minute Zoom call, and I'll give you some tips and guidance and invitation to work with me if it fits, and we go from there. At the bottom of the homepage of my website is my email list, where you basically put your name and email in there, and you'll basically be subscribing to my email audience, and you'll get a weekly email from me, which includes a replay of the show, other things I'm working on, new offerings, and other things as well. So definitely make sure you do that. In the middle of the screen is the first of my 2 assessments. I have 2 quizzes that I call relationship assessments. One's a relationship readiness assessment, and the other one is a self-relationship assessment. The first one, which is a button on the homepage you click on, which is Take the Quiz, takes you to a relationship readiness assessment that is basically a set of questions that really reflect on you, where you are in your preparedness for having a relationship. Simple and effective. You get an email from me which has an explainer of where you are on that journey, invitation to reach out to me for more support. The second one, which is the self-relationship assessment, which isn't a button yet, that's going to be done. But in the meantime, you go to barryselby.com/self-quiz to get there. And that, as you might have guessed, is a self-relationship reflection. So basically, it's 7 areas of your life in terms of self-trust, self-confidence, those sort of things that will really go deep with questions that let you see, in looking in the mirror, so to speak, where you are in that reflection of your own relationship with yourself. That one actually has a full PDF attached to it. So when you do take that quiz, you'll get a PDF download available to you as well, which gives you lots of tips and guidance and next steps you can take. And as well, you can also see if you want to work with me. In addition to that, if you may have noticed behind me is my book, 50 Ways to Love Your Lover. I figure I'll put it up on the shelf so you can see it. But if you go to my website page, barryselby.com/book, or you find it in the navigation through my homepage, that's where you can find my book if you want to get a copy yourself. If you want to find out more about what my book is about, at the top of that page, there is an audio discussion interview between two very NPR sounding voices, male and female, who discuss my book in great detail. They're very smart, very wise. And they've got about a 13, 40-minute conversation you can listen to, which gives you a good preview of what my book is about. Listen to that. You'll decide if you like my book. You can order it from the page at the bottom of that page, which has got the Kindle version, the physical book, and also the ebook version if you want that as well. In addition to that, you can find me on social media. I'm just thinking about anything on my site that's got my site covered. You can send me an email at barryselby.com. And if you want to go and find me on social media, my name, Barry Selby, is on most of my sites, which includes Facebook, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Blue Sky, and on YouTube. And if you go on YouTube, you find, yes, the replays of about 280 plus shows, as Christine mentioned, in one of the playlists. But also, I've got over 1,500 other videos on my website. So you've got on my YouTube channel. So plenty of things to discover, look at. I'm putting up a lot of short reel type videos now. So you want to get little tips and guidance, definitely check out that playlist on my YouTube channel. And I think that's, oh yes, and if you want to find me on Instagram or Threads, it's the real Barry Selby. That got changed due to somebody hacking my old account.
And your email.
Yes, and I mentioned that, but you definitely can email at barryselby.com.
So we're here live every week at 1 o'clock Pacific and 4 o'clock Eastern on Thursdays. You could watch us live, submit questions. We're happy to answer them on air. But if you want to watch us on replay, you can watch us on YouTube or Roku. But you can take us with you and listen, right, Barry?
Absolutely, because our show is not only as a video, you can watch it on YouTube and all those other places. You can listen to us just the audio alone. So if you're in a place where you can't watch because you're driving or riding a bike or going shopping or something else, you can listen to our show with your earbuds in your ear and listen to all 270, 280 episodes on your favorite platforms, whether it's Apple, Spotify, Amazon, wherever you listen to your podcasts. And when you listen to them, you can listen to any audio you want. You can scan through the titles, find ones you like, share them with your friends. And if you want to binge listen, go right ahead.
And I'm finding people are thinking about their friends as they're listening to this. So push the share button, send it to them. They need to hear this information too. So it, leave us a review. And we will be back next week with another interesting subject about dating and relationships.
We'll see you then. Take care.
Bye.